Good morning and welcome to today's pre-US Open market update for the active investor. This is being recorded 90 minutes before the opening of the US stock markets on Thursday the 26th of September. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 4-hour chart of the ES Mini. A down, B back, and then this messy overlapping structure to the downside off the recent high. Thus far, ABC 1, 2, ABC 3. I think this is a 4 in a diagonal, and we're going to get the 5th down, then a 2, then I'm looking for a 3, 4, 5 down to our target region. Hurstwise, still expecting the move into the mid to late October low. I'm going to just ignore that for a moment. And if I just take you to the daily chart briefly, you can see we've crossed below the 20-day FLD, just coming up hopefully to kiss that effectively from the underside, and I want to see it hold and push price straight back down again. Now let's then go to the lower time frames and zoom in a little bit on the move down thus far. So you can see A, B, C1, A, B, C2, 5 to here as a diagonal for an A, B, and then that's an impulse for the C of 3 into a 138.2 fib. Then this structure back up, if we zoom in a little to the 15-minute chart, thus far I got an initial ABC up here, small X wave, then another A, B, I'm just looking for the C up to this 618 fib, 29.97 and change. Do not want to see this back above 3009 at any point. And then on the 3-minute day trading chart, if I take the length of this pink A wave here and measure it off the bottom of the B wave retrace, I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, just looking for the 5th up. The 1.0 extension is about a point above the 618 retrace. So ideally this morning, little pop higher, then down again after that. But do please be cognizant of the alternative count. At the low, we hit the 50% retrace fib of this move up here, and that would be the wave 3 in a larger diagonal with a 5th up as an ABC still to come. And there are two ways to consider that count, either that yesterday's low was the bottom of the 4, or that we're getting a WX, A, B, and then we get a C wave down to 29.40 to 29.17. So even on the next leg lower, we are not out of the woods on this count until we take out 28.88 in the ES. I want to see 28.88 taken out and follow through below 28.10 would be absolute confirmation that a fairly significant top has been seen in the markets. And then just taking that count down to the hourly time frame, if this is a B wave, then it's only going to be retracing against this as opposed to this, which is why the levels are slightly different. It still projects to 29.98, but this would be a 764 of this move off its X wave, and then we would get a straightforward impulse. If I see a straightforward impulse down to 29.40 or 29.18, that's going to get me on high alert if we start to bounce from there, that we may not stop at the retrace fibs expected and in fact go up to that 30.60 to 30.80 range that is still not out of the question at this point in time. Okay, let's come over and look at GC next. Now, we had this sharp drop yesterday, which, again, if you've been following, we were expecting. It didn't quite get to the fib we were looking for up here. However, I did go through this in the live TPA room yesterday. Please do set up your trading view charts the way I suggest, and if you look at the 3, 15 and 60-minute charts of dust, it gave you a very clear setups to go long dust for a day trade, and it also showed you exactly where the momentum started to come off on that move in order to bank your profits for a 15% plus day in dust alone. Now, we do have what can count as a very complete 5-wave move down into yesterday's low, push up overnight. I'm hoping that's an A we get a B, C up to 1517 to 1522, then I'm looking for a 3, 4, 5, and I'll put the fibs on and give accurate targets for that as and when we take out the low. But do be cautious. If we just take out 1500 here, yesterday's low, I suspect it's an extension of the 1, as opposed to going into the 3 straight away. So do be aware that we could then get a retrace if you're short in GC. And then if I skip out to the daily time frame, if this is a C wave down, it is going to take out that 1469 level. There are levels below to consider, but it does start to then write off the idea of an impulse to higher, which I've never, as those of you that have been following me for a while, been a fan of anyway. I do not think we're in an impulse to the upside in the metals and miners complex, although I have got that under consideration should it choose to prove me wrong. Okay, let's then come over and look at Bitcoin next. And Bitcoin's gone back to sleep again, I'm afraid. So having had that sharp move down the other day and then a little retrace, I think that's a 3, 4. I'm just looking for a fifth in a C of the 3 in the diagonal we're following. Targets below remain the same, 79.31, 76.35. Then we want to see the ABC back for the 4. And a final ABC structure. 68.95 remains the ideal target below us in Bitcoin. And the only other thing to just remind you of here in Bitcoin is that possibility, if you just zoom out and cut out some of the noise, this can be a 1, 2, 1, 2. If we just continue to accelerate down, then we could be in an impulse to the downside for the C wave. I think if we were going to see that, we would have seen further follow through after the sharp declines that we saw on Tuesday afternoon. So I think it's unlikely, but do be, don't just go blindly long at the bottom. Wait for the hit on the fib and the bounce to give you the tight stop in order to do that. Okay, that's what I've got this morning. I'm back in the TPA live room throughout the afternoon and then back here this evening with the later daily market update.